You're listening to the Entrepreneurs Next Door podcast.
Work's been breaking my back, already packing my bags. Punch that time card like a ticket out of here.
Welcome to today's episode of Entrepreneurs Next Door podcast. Today's conversation is with Marty and Liz DeNinno from Pinnacle Irrigation and Nightlighting. This episode is mostly with Marty, and they are quite the duo, and we can't wait to have Liz come on soon. Please enjoy this conversation revolving around family business, its struggles, and victories. Please enjoy. Yeah, you just left off at you're good at something that you actually enjoy, unlike a lot of people. When did you know that, though? Like, that's something like somebody that's like 40, 50 years old, like, you know what? I really do enjoy this. I'm good at it. But, like, did you know that at 17 or 18?
Boy, that's a great question. I worked with my dad and the guys that he worked with, and you had a couple different personalities there. And one of the older guys, he was like a workhorse, and he taught me the physicality portion of it, how to dig, how to shovel, how to put things back, and how to make it look great. And then the other guy was more the brains of his outfit, and he kind of taught me the other side of it, how to fix things. So between the two schools of those two guys, you learned a lot of different things. So you kind of got both hands on what I needed to do. And it wasn't until much later in life that I really started enjoying it, when I could kind of manage my own time, manage my own thing. Even though I was still working for them, my time was a little bit more my own, and I was doing more of a well-rounded portion of the business, where it was the estimating, it was on the job, it was doing a little bit more than just being out all day on the job with a shovel in my hand. So, as a young adult, you hate getting up, especially when you got to dig when the weather's not great. But if you can make the best of it, and that's what I try to do with everything, just whatever you do, just make the best of it and just have fun with it. And I've always tried to do that, and I always try to tell my guys, listen, let's get the job done, and then let's have some fun. Let's if we can work and have some fun at the same time, that's going to be a great day.
Has it been a part of your culture then? That part of it, like, hey, we're going to go work hard and get the job done, and then there is an element of some fun and fellowship? Absolutely.
Even in life, we always tease and we say, let's work hard, play hard. So let's put our nose to the grindstone, and then when we feel like we're ahead of the game or we got it nailed, I said, then we can have a little fun, and makes the day go by quicker. Yeah.
Did you have pressure from peers getting done high school to go work for your dad, like in his own company, but not going to college and not doing kind of just that view of like, hey, this should be next?
Right.
Did you face that? Did you see that or no?
No, because being in this town, it's always everybody is like, all right, where are you going to go to college? Where are you going to apply? What are you going to do? And that's one of the reasons why we're here, is because I wanted my sons to have that little push from their peers. All right, where are you going to go next? I grew up in Collingswood, and it was, graduated in 1985. In 1985 in Collingswood, it's very blue collar. It's it was kind of half and half. So it wasn't that pressure from my friends of where are you going to go and what are you going to do. And I knew myself that college wasn't going to be the right move for me, because I wasn't a straight A student, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I did really well in the classes that I really liked. So for me, it was math, sciences, mechanical drawing, wood shop, and things like that, where I can use my hands and be a little bit more creative. Obviously not math, but that helped me later in life.
And I'm thinking of your story. Business for you has always been family. Like, they've been intertwined, and I'm thinking one of the questions I was going to be prepared with was, when did that like change? And so now there was no change. It was always family is business, business is family,
right.
Including up until now with your wife. And there's got to be, because I know what it's like to work for family and then with family. That's its own animal. There's got to be some obstacles that you've faced and clearly overcome. And so, I give you full respect, and I acknowledge, just to survive this long through family business, I give you a lot of credit.
Right.
And so if you could, what are your thoughts on that? I know that's a huge topic, but where does your thought process go when I talk
think
about that?
there is a statistic that most family businesses don't make it to the third generation. And in my own opinion, it's because a family business is typically run like a family and not a business. So the people that are coming up in the business, I know from my own experience, is that let's say your business has 10 responsibilities, and let's put a dollar sign on all those responsibilities. And if one person is taking 9 of those responsibilities and another person in the family is taking 1 of those responsibilities, it doesn't make sense for them to make the exact same amount of money. And I think that that's where the family businesses usually fall apart, because it does come with that animosity. It's like, well, why is he making the same amount of money as me when he's not working hard? Now, I can tell you that everybody feels as though they're working harder than everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, if the responsibilities are being doled out properly, and the dads or whoever is, the head of the family business, they have to say, hey, we do have to run this like a business. And if they do that, everybody will appreciate it. Everybody will understand what their responsibilities are. And that's the way the family business succeeds, I think.
Have you clearly made that a part of your current business model and moving forward? Because you've already mentioned legacy-wise, like what will you leave? Was that a hard change to make, or actually was it easy because you saw where it failed previously?
With our business right now, I'm anticipating my boys not to come into the business. So I don't know if that'll change. So I don't really have that, but I'm looking at my employees as somebody that I can maybe pass my business down to, or maybe they'll buy it from me. And building it up to the point where it can almost run kind of like a turnkey business, where someone could actually take it from me, have all the hardware, have all the things in place that they can run it, and it can be status quo that way. So I don't really want it to be that in my head type of business where I'm the only person who knows what's going on, because I think a good business really can be, once it's up and running, can be managed by someone else. So my boys, I don't think are going to do it. They might surprise me and come into it, and if I do, I hope I can take my own, go with what I'm saying to myself now. Maybe I'll play this back in 10 years, who knows? But
we'll send you the hard copy. That way you can be like, what did I say that day?
Thank you. Yeah, well, they both have worked in the business a little bit at a time. My younger son a little bit more than my older son. And they know what it's like to work hard. They know what I do. They know that I get up every single day. So I'm hoping that whatever they do in life, that they'll see that hard work ethic, and I think that they do have that. They're both little entrepreneurs in their own thing. They always have their own little things going on, little side hustles or whatever the case may be, they call it today. So that is pretty cool, and to see that is it's definitely cool.
As somebody who has worked independent from my wife, and then worked with my wife in like business insofar as like the main income, I can't wait for this next topic, because I just want to hear your heart, and it's even cooler because she's next to you. There's not a hot mic in front of her, and so but please, can you talk about the joys? There's a lot of joy, and just that unique part of literally working with your spouse. What's that been like for you? So
I did mention before that a lot of people do say to me I could never work with my wife, or wives say I could never work with my husband, and the reality is that you already are working with them. You're running a household. You're managing your children. You're managing the money. You're managing finances. It doesn't really change much in a business. It's just there's more hours of it. And there's no one you'd rather share your successes with than your spouse. They're the ones that have your back more than anybody. And that's one of the things that you find out early on. And in my case, it was like I came with the industry experience where I knew, basically how to install irrigation and night lighting and that type of thing, and work with other people, where Liz has the business side of it. She's much better at that. So she handles all that stuff. So it allows me to focus and do what I have to do, and she can do what she likes to do, which is taking care of the business, social media marketing, and all the things that you need today, where I think we see in other businesses that are very similar to ours, where it is a guy that's working by himself and he's managing a few people, whether it's a plumbing trade or it's a small shop, whether it's in our green industry, and they always say, I don't have time to do social media, I don't have time to market myself, and we all fall into that, and then we wonder why maybe our businesses don't do as well or don't succeed, or whatever the case may be.
Yep. Would you say that you being an entrepreneur, like you saw your dad do it, like you learned it, and then you came to that spot where it was clear, it's time to go, or everything's in my hands. That entrepreneurial drive, where do you think that came from? Was it a part of your DNA because you saw it, or was it like attained Where would you say that drive comes from?
I definitely think it was part of my DNA. I mean, my dad really instilled a lot into me and the way that I do things. He was very much had the entrepreneurial spirit where he did start his own business from nothing. It was he used to work at RCA. He was a cabinet maker at RCA, and my grandfather was a plumber in the school system in Camden, and somebody had asked him to install a sprinkler system. And he said, yeah, he goes, I'll install one for you. This was 100 years ago when nobody was doing it. This is when my sister was born in mid-60s. And they installed one, and then they installed another one together, and they installed another one together. And my dad took a leave of absence from RCA and to do the irrigation during the summer. Well, and he knows he wasn't going to do anything in the wintertime, so he went back to get his job back. And his BA, because it was union, his BA said, Mart, listen, I'll give you your job back if you want it, but don't take it. Continue what you're doing, and you're going to do great. And, I saw what my dad was doing. I saw it was work, and then I started doing it myself. But, he did put food on the table. He did put kids through college. He did have, a great life and a great lifestyle, and always seemed like he was having a good time doing it. And I'm like, So I think that portion of it, I definitely got from him.
There's that leads me to a question that is a consistent one for me, and I love hearing everyone's different view. From somebody I had, he was like, no, it's definitely not. And somebody else said, absolutely. But being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, is it a calling to you? Would you say it's a calling?
That's a great question.
With no wrong answer, by the way. Hence it being a tough question.
I think, I think the entrepreneurial spirit is that you don't want to have restrictions on you. You don't want somebody telling you what you have to do every single day. You want to succeed for yourself and fail for yourself, and not have the restrictions of being in a cubicle in that 8 hours and somebody telling you what you're going to do every single day. I think in my story, I think my dad gave me the tools, and I think, where I wanted to get to the next chapter of my life, with my family saying, you can do this and definitely do this. I think that's what pushed me into, more of the entrepreneurship for myself, and saying you can do this and there will be no limits,
I love that. Now that you've been in business for longer than 6 months, it's been a road for you. It's funny, I'm sure if I asked you this question, what does success mean to you? 10 years ago, boom, you had an answer. Or even at 17, a way different answer. But
right.
As we sit today in 2018, what does success mean to you in this season?
Success basically means to me is being able to wake up every single day and do something that you love. I think that's what drives you, so that that when that alarm goes off, you're like, oh God, here we go again. You like the people that you work with. You do like what you do. You feel like that you're doing something bigger than what people think you do. I wake up every day thinking I'm changing the world. I might not be doing that, maybe one irrigation at a time, but maybe it's more water conservation for me, or maybe it's, the smile that I put on people's faces when we light up their house and it just looks so great. And then I drive by and I'm like, wow, we really did a great job. We made something there that people can appreciate and like. And, that might be a little egotistical to think that, for myself, I think I'm changing the world. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's what makes me happy.
Well, and I think first of all, I think you're dead right when you are an artisan, and you are at work and you are creating, and it absolutely affects not just the people in which you do it for, but the people they're given to, right? So everyone that's driving by, everyone that they know, and in turn, you and your entire family and team. And before you know it, all those things start to overlap. So I actually agree with you. That's what nobody can see me, but I was nodding because I think to change the world sounds like some huge theme, but I actually do think it's true, absolutely. And I know people listening to this interview today, I know a couple of the parts will definitely resonate with them for sure. So, Marty, I wanted to say thank you for cutting out the time on a very busy Friday in December, and to cut out time. And for Liz, it's nice to know that our next episode with Pinnacle will actually be with you, and we'll be able to reference all these different things, but you are a major piece. So I wanted to say thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and the pleasure was all mine.